Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We're tossing out those dry, delayed macroeconomic reports, and we're taking a real-time, hidden truth look at Bangladesh's investment climate. How? Well, through a fascinating and honestly, highly lucrative lens, premium expat housing in Dhaka. You see, if you really want to know where the money is flowing and how multinational companies are truly operating on the ground, you have to look at where their people are living. So buckle up, because we're about to uncover your 2026 Investor's Guide to Premium Rentals and High Returns in Dhaka.
Now, to really understand this market, we absolutely have to start at the ground level. Take a look at this quote on screen from our local sources. Translated, it's essentially telling us that the data we're analyzing today comes straight from reliable, deeply localized portals like Banglamart.com and Hotels.com BD. What this means for us is that our insights on furnished serviced apartments aren't just guesswork or high-level assumptions. They are derived straight from real, active ground-level data. This is the real market talking.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The hidden truth. 2. Following the demand engine. 3. The expat triangle. 4. Reality versus costs. 5. The 2026 investor opportunity. And 6. Actionable opportunities. Let's start with Section 1, the hidden truth, exposing the real market.
There is this massive myth out there that housing international staff in Dhaka is somehow incredibly cheap. But just look at this multiplier, 7 times. Expat-grade housing in Dhaka can literally cost up to 7 times more than the city average. When foreign money flows into Bangladesh, it brings executives, it brings diplomats, and they require international standard accommodations. They absolutely aren't living in your average city housing.
Let's put that into real dollars to give you a better perspective. On paper, the city average for a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment might look like, actually scratch that, it looks exactly like $180 a month on average. But honestly, that is a wildly misleading baseline. The true corporate cost for a prime 2-bedroom apartment suitable for expatriates sits at $1,200 or more. If a multinational company builds their budget based on that $180 average, they are underestimating their cost by massive multiples. But hey, if you're an informed investor, this gap isn't a problem at all. It's a seriously lucrative opportunity.
Moving on to Section 2, following the demand engine. Who is renting? Now, what's really interesting here is pinpointing exactly who needs these units. When multinationals expand, their teams need long-term housing, right? Because living out of a hotel for 6 months is just way too expensive and totally impractical. That's exactly where the serviced apartment steps in. We've got 4 main slices driving this ecosystem. First, you have corporate professionals from those multinational companies. Second, diplomats and expats who absolutely prioritize top-tier security. Third, non-resident Bangladeshis, or NRBs, who just want a ready-to-live, hassle-free space when they visit. And finally, a fast-growing segment of young professionals and students looking for modern, compact living. This right here, this is your target market.
Section 3, the Expat Triangle, Geography of Value.
You know, demand in Dhaka definitely isn't spread out evenly. It's intensely concentrated in very specific, high-value geographical pockets. In fact, the premium rental market is largely defined by these 3 core neighborhoods, what we call the Expat Triangle. Gulshan is the undisputed center. It's the diplomatic and corporate hub with ultra-high security and easy office access. Then you have Baridhara, which is much quieter, heavily residential, and a massive favorite for diplomats with families. And finally, Banani offers a much livelier, mixed-use vibe with cafes and nightlife, pulling in those mid-level professionals.
But hey, the story doesn't stop at the triangle. The demand footprint is expanding like wildfire right now. Emerging areas like Bashandora and Uttara are gaining massive traction. As the overall market grows, these neighborhoods are offering incredible, modern living standards at a slightly more accessible price point. That makes them a total magnet for mid-tier professionals and a highly strategic play for investors getting in early. All right, Section 4, Reality versus Costs, Navigating the Legal Gaps. Okay, let's talk real numbers and yields. You've got your mid-tier 2-bedroom units sitting at about $600 a month, and those prime corporate 2-bedrooms hitting $1,200 plus. But take a look at the studio category at the bottom there. Renting for around $300 to $500 a month, these smaller, well-designed spaces are the absolute hidden gems of the Dhaka market. They are consistently delivering very impressive 5 to 8% yields. Urban density is pushing a huge demand for compact efficiency, making studios a brilliant investment play. Here is where things get a bit tricky, though. You absolutely have to navigate the difference between what's written in the law books and what actually happens on the streets. On paper, Bangladeshi law limits security deposits to just 1 month's rent. But the reality? Landlords are routinely demanding 2, sometimes even 3 months' rent up front. Plus, while long-term leases are legally required to be formally registered, informal contracts still completely dominate the landscape. And if things go wrong, dispute resolution in court can literally take years. So you can't just fly blind here. Deep local knowledge isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely crucial.
Section 5. The 2026 Investor Opportunity, Future Trends.
As you might know, Bangladesh is rapidly approaching its graduation from least developed country status in 2026. This transition is acting like rocket fuel for foreign investment. And this brilliantly illustrates how tenant expectations have drastically evolved. What used to be considered a luxury is now the absolute bare minimum baseline. Expats demand reliable high-speed internet, uninterrupted backup power, clean water, 24/7 security with controlled access, and fully equipped kitchens with regular cleaning. If your property doesn't have these, you simply aren't in the game anymore. Those old, informal, unmanaged rentals are becoming completely obsolete.
So it really comes down to this step-by-step evolution as we race toward 2026. Step 1, professionally managed properties are going to completely dominate because corporate clients want structured, reliable services, not chaotic, informal agreements. Step 2, urban density and rising costs will continue to skyrocket the popularity of those high-yield studios we talked about. And Step 3, smart tech, things like keyless entry and flawless connectivity, becomes totally mandatory.
And finally, Section 6. Actionable opportunities. Your solution. So you see the massive demand, you see the crazy yields, but how do you actually capture those returns without losing your mind over daily operations? Professional management is no longer a luxury. For sure, it's a necessity. If you are looking for a fully furnished or serviced apartment, particularly in the booming Bashundhara RA in Dhaka, let REIT Limited help you find the perfect place to call home. They step in to handle the tenant screening, rent collection, maintenance, the whole shebang, turning a very complex market into a structured, high-yield asset for you. You can reach them directly by calling +880-1711-993377 or just visit their website at hotels.com.bd to get started.
To wrap things up today, I really want to leave you with this final thought. Are you making your investment decisions based on delayed, generalized macroeconomic averages that totally miss the reality on the ground? Or are you ready to follow the demand engine, dive into the real data, and invest where the money actually lives? The Dhaka premium rental market is calling, and the opportunities are huge. Make sure you're ready to answer. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy investing.